Hello, this is day 2 of Measures of Central Tendencies. Here's another packet, and in case you had trouble with the first one, let's just go through it one more time with the calculator. If you are taking this first question about brown trout and the weights, we were given this list of data. So this is when, again, on your calculator, you would hit after turn it on, second, memory 4, enter. So now when you hit stat, enter, you have a clear list. So if we were to be typing in this information, we would be starting with 2.45. Just make sure that you're careful with typing in. 1.60, and hopefully you're doing this with me at the same time. 1.53, 2.89, 2.85, 1.09. Now notice these numbers are not in numerical order, but your calculator will sort them. They won't give you the full list sorted, but they'll give you your lowest and your highest, which we'll go through. 2.39, 2.97, 2.28. Oops, I didn't type that one right, so let's go back and fix that. 2.8. So it's so important that you double check what you're doing. 1.79, 8.48. And if you make a mistake, like I said to you before, you can fix it so easily. So if you notice, again, the 16th cell is empty. It's empty here and it's empty here, which tells me I put in my 15 numbers, and now is when I cursor up to check that I didn't type anything wrong. This doesn't take long. However, if you don't do this, chances are you might have had something typed wrong, and then there's nothing we can do in accepting your answer because we can't check your calculator. So this is a step that should never be overlooked ever at any point. And my work is correct. So it says use your calculator to find the mean weight and round your answer to the nearest hundredth. So we're going to go stat, calculate variable statistics. It is a single list, so you just go to calculate, or on an old calculator, hit enter, and we get that the mean is 1.916 repeating, which means the mean is 1.97. So that's one of the things that we now have to write. The mean is 1.97. Okay. Use your calculator to find the first and third quartile values. Now this is, and I'm actually probably just going to type these because it'll be easier, but when we do this, we look and we see, okay, we have 15 items, which we wanted to know about. Here's my minimum, 1.09. So this is what I was saying when I said they sort it for you. Quartile 1, the first 25% of your data would begin at 1.41 when your data is in order. Your median, your middle value, or quartile 2, is 1.62. Your upper quartile, your quartile 3, is 2.45, and your maximum is 2.97. So if we did this, we would say minimum is 1.09. Maximum is your 2.97. And if you subtract these two, you get a range, so an overall range that is 1.88. So this is the smallest to largest. What's the range of the weights of these trout? Now, here they're asking us for the first and third quartiles. So, quartile 1 is 1.41. And it's kind of nice to let your calculator do all this for you. I mean, we could calculate this by hand, but it really would take a lot longer. Quartile 3 now is your 2.45, and then this gives us an inner quartile range. So this is inner quartile range is from 25% of the data to 75%. It's 50% of the data, and the inner quartile range, you subtract the two, and you get 1.04. So your inner quartile range, 1.04. There we go. So now it says calculate the range, which we did because I kind of had a feeling they were going to want us to go there. So the range we did right here, and the inner quartile range we did right here. So these things are important. And then they say, you know, that's it for this. They didn't ask you to do a box and whisker plot, but if you were going to do a box and whisker plot, this is all you would have needed to make a perfect box and whisker plot. But now we're talking about a 2-column. This is when you have to put the frequency in. So let's go over the calculator again. You need second, memory, 4. Clear the lists. Make sure you let the calculator clear the list, so then this way you don't have anything typed incorrectly. So now in the intervals, we're talking about the interval of 13, the interval of 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Then they're talking of this problem, teenagers and social networking sites, they're saying only 5 13-year-olds, and this is an old study or made up, 11 14-year-olds, 17 15-year-olds, 26 16-year-olds, 24 17-year-olds, 10 18-year-olds, and 7 19-year-olds. So when we look at this, they're telling us in the original problem, they surveyed 100 people. Well, let's see if that's really true. So if I now again hit stat and I go to calculate, this is when I have to say that list 2 is the frequency. So on an old calculator, I don't have list 1 on the first step. You should if you have a new calculator. Then you have to cursor to the next. But my old calculator, I use the comma and then list 2. And yes, I have 100, so I know I typed it in right. And they say find the mean average, and the mean is 16.11. And then they say 75% of all the data fall at what range or below? Well, 75% of the data, ladies and gentlemen, that's the third quartile. The third quartile is 17 or less. So that is your answer. 17 or younger, since we're talking people here, we don't say yes, less. What is the modal age of this data? So modal is the most. Remember, the word mode is the most, and so this is a fancy way of saying most. And that would be 26. And so that was 17. And this here was 16.11. So if you move on to the statistics class next year, you're going to need to know how to use the calculator. So hopefully you're doing these lessons. So number 3, a child's concert was given where 32 adults paid $12 and 68 children paid $8. Which was the mean? Now, believe it or not, you can use a calculator for this, and it would really make things a little bit easier. So let's go second memory 4. And if you go into your lists, you have first that there were 32 adults and they paid $12 per ticket. But here's where you would have to say, all right, the $12 tickets happened with the 32 adults. So 32 people paid for an adult ticket. So the $12 had to come first. So that took a little bit of thought. And the other interval is the $8 ticket. And the $8 ticket, that's going to go with the 68 kids. So the frequencies were how many people bought these particular tickets. But look at, if you do this and then you hit stat, enter, and again, number 1, just don't forget that you have a frequency of L2. And so there's the 100 people. And the average ticket price was $9.28, choice 4. So that would be very helpful to do on the calculator. You could have done it by hand. You could have had, your 12 times 68 and your 32 times 12 and 68 times 8, and then you could have divided by 100. Which of the following is the formula for the mean? Well, the mean, you need to add up all the pieces and then divide by the number. So it would absolutely be number 4. That brings us back to chapter 6. The mean and the median of the following set of data are the same. Okay, so that's important. The average and the middle are the same. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Half of 8 is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the median. So the median, the middle, equals halfway between 7 and 8, which is 7.5. So halfway between 7 and 8 is 7.5 for the median. Now, there are 8 values. I only know 7 of them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add up these 7 pieces of data that they gave me. And these 7 pieces of data now, let's just clear everything. I have 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 11. That adds up to 47. So let's move that over. This now gives me 47 plus K, because I don't know what K is. So when I take an average, I add up everything I have, divide it by the number of items I have, and they said that the mean is going to equal the median. So now this is going to equal 7.5. So an equation to solve. The inverse of division is multiplication. If we multiply both sides by 8, this cancels, and 47 plus K is equal to, well, I need my calculator now, 7.5 times 8 equals 60. Subtract 47 from 60. And you get that K is equal to 13. So the value for K, because the mean was 7.5, the mean has to be 7.5. So that means that K is equal to 13. That one wasn't that bad. Nalia wants to average 30 minutes. So she wants her average to be 30 minutes for 5 days a week. For the first 4 days, she exercised. And here again is where you're going to want your calculator. So she exercised for 25 plus 38 plus 40 plus 29. So right now she has exercised for 132 minutes, and I'm just going to type that one. So 132 minutes. And now we don't know about how many minutes she exercised on the 5th day, so we're actually going to write 5th day. But that now gives us 5 days, so we're going to divide this by 5. And this is now going to equal the average of 30 minutes. So now, just like before, we have to multiply both sides by 5. And 30 times 5 is 150. So if I have 132 plus the 5th day is equal to 150, and I subtract 132 from both sides, then I find out that my 5th day, she only has to exercise 15 minutes to get that average. And the same thing now for exercise 7. So please finish this packet and do your absolute best. Let me know if I can help you with anything.